Hi everybody, I'm out here. Haven't been outside yet, but I thought I'd come out here and see what was going on. It's super cold. I don't know what the temperature is. For some reason my weather app wasn't working right where it shows the temperature, but it's really, really cold. I know it was in the teens, I think overnight. But yesterday a little bit of the snow melted off. It got a little warm yesterday afternoon and everything. Phew. It is. I'm not even gonna take this plastic off today. Oh. But believe it or not, underneath there, the kale and turnips looked actually pretty good when I had them, when I took this off yesterday. But this thing is just froze. I mean, there's like ice underneath it. Hopefully they'll make it through this little cold spell, big cold spell, and we'll be able to get back to normal for this time of year. It shouldn't be this cold and snowy and everything yet here. So I hope we don't have a bad winter. Well, I'm not going to stay out here too long, so I'm going to pause it and go in and get set up, and I'm going to tell you another story in my life. Brr! I caught a chill out there. I had to put this one on at my ex-sister-in-law got me for my birthday. This thing's really warm. But, yeah, you don't want to be out there very long this morning. So, what's for dinner? What's for dinner, everyone? Last night we had potato-encrusted pollock, goat cheese bites, and applesauce. Here it is. And let me tell you, that was delicious. All of it was. All of it. It was so good, that fish. It was a generous portion. We got it at Food City, so if you want to see what it was, look at my last Food City haul. I think it says Food City and Kroger haul. So check it out if you want to know what fish that was, and it was delicious. It really was. It wasn't quite as good as the encrusted cod that we had before, but it was close, and it was cheaper. Well, we got that cod down here at Grocery Outlet for some crazy price for it, and I wish I'd have got more, but actually it got gone real quick. So, what are we gonna have for dinner tonight? Steak and gravy. My steak and gravy in the crock pot. Look at that, y'all. It still needs to thaw out a little bit. It's Black Angus. This is from Aldi. Let's see how much it was here. It was $6.64. It's $4.99 a pound. That's not terrible for Black Angus. So it's just delicious. If you want to know how I fix my, I actually named it let's see, cube steak casserole or something like that. Can't remember. I think that's what I called it, cube steak casserole or something like that. But I did a cook with me for it. So if you want to see how I fix tonight's, just go to my playlist and you can see how I fix it. And it's delicious, delicious, delicious. That's all I can say. Now, she's wound up this morning. She went flying down the hall. I was sitting here getting ready to do this, and she went flying, came all the way down the hall and jumped from this door that door right there. She jumped from there all the way to the table. It was crazy to see her do that. That's a long ways. Hey there. What are you doing? Checking out the steak? The cube steak? I don't think you can eat it like that, honey. All right. She stepped on it, and I guess it's a little wet. And she started shaking her back leg. Hey. Okay. Okay, today I got another story for you. Another crazy story. And I've got way more than that, if I can remember them all. But got my coffee. This one is when my truck, my Coca Cola truck, burned up, totaling the cab. I think they were able to use the bed, maybe, for it. Okay, this had to be, let's see, about 1978, I would say. Weren't you kidding? 78, 79. I was running, I was delivering Coca Cola, mainly out in the country. At that time, you know, the little 6.5 ounce returnable bottle, everything was returnable back then. Everything. They had the little 6.5 ounce bottle. And the reason that one was so good, okay, they had a 6.5 ounce and they had a, I believe it was a 10 or 12 ounce. Might have been 10 ounce Coke, okay? They used the same amount of syrup for the 6.5 ounce as they did for the 10 ounce. So it tasted a little bit stronger, and it was very good. I don't think these days, these little bottles they got, I don't think they're the same, not at all. And, oh yeah, let me write something down. I'm remembering something. Okay, I'll be doing, and tomorrow, I just thought of this. Tomorrow, the story will be when they changed Coke to New Coke. That's a good one. Let me write down that this is for Friday. So, tune in tomorrow for that, when they changed Coke to New Coke. Okay. So, that one morning, you know, I was getting ready to deliver and got my truck and everything and took off to, we would go, no, she wants to play with this. Here, get over here and play with it. Get over here, honey. Come on. Over here and play with it. There you go. And knock it down. So, I got in my truck and took off. We always met for breakfast. Everyone that went in that same direction, general direction, we would meet at this little place, little mom and pop restaurant, and they would let us sign our ticket every day because none of us were rich. I mean, we were all poor, and back then they only paid like $4 and some an hour, and that was for a lot of work. But anyway, we would meet there for breakfast. They would let us sign our ticket each day, and then when we got paid, we would pay it at the end of the week. So you could eat good every morning. You had to have something good to eat before you went working like that. So on the way there, the truck started backfiring. Backfiring, loud. You know, on a big truck, it's loud. I mean, it's more like an explosion. And so I made it to the restaurant, you know, and my supervisor, well, actually it was the salesman for that area, that district. And they were like, not really our boss, but they always thought they were because they pre-sold the routes back then. Everything on the truck was sold. And so I was like, listen, I'm not going to say his name or nothing, but I said, listen, this truck's been backfiring all the way over here, man. It's something ain't right. And he was like, oh, it's probably, you got something in your air filter or something, it'll dry out. You just go on. He didn't want me to not run that route, you know, and take that truck back in. They would have had, everything was on pallets, you know, and they had tow trucks. So I could have taken it back in. I was only about a half hour, less than a half hour away. And they could have just taken it with forklifts and unloaded that truck onto another truck. But no, he's like, no, don't, it's already late, you know, because you need to get that stuff delivered. So-and-so needs their Cokes, blah, it's out of them. Blah. I said, all right, fine, okay, I'll go on. So I went on, it acted up. I got way out in the country. I mean, way out. And I was driving to this little, it was basically a bootleg beer store. You know, you go in there, you don't see any beer or nothing. But that's where everybody went to get their beer, especially on like Sunday or something. That's just the way it did. I had to deliver Cokes there. And it was through some, I mean, country. So when I got about a little over halfway from the turnoff, it let off a couple more backfires. Well, all of a sudden the truck just lurched forward and quit. Well, next thing I know, I'm seeing flames, you know, out of the front, underneath the engine, you know, coming out of the hood. So, what do? I grab the fire extinguisher, right? What you should do. I grabbed the fire extinguisher. I had some money in there in bags, like coins mainly, big old bags of them. And I think there was some, I kept the cash on me, but the coins, I couldn't carry them around. You know, you had to service different machines where you had to count the money out to get paid, you know. And so I go to open the hood, and I was going to open the hood and spray it, but I couldn't get it all the way open, and it was so hot, I burnt my hands trying to push it up. I burnt mainly my fingertips and stuff, and a little bit like on my palms and stuff, and I couldn't get it open. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll spray I had it like partially open, you know, and just like about that much, and I couldn't get the latch thing, you know, because it was too hot. And so I grabbed the fire extinguisher, you know, and I go to spray it. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. And we had a bunch of jokesters, you know, at Coke, and somebody had obviously just sprayed the stuff out, just playing around, you know, because nobody had had a fire or anything. And it was empty. There's nothing I could do. Well, I left some things in the truck, I mean, because it was, by that time, the flames were probably 15 foot high. There's cows over here on the left. They're over there watching it. I'm afraid it's going to blow up, you know. Well, it was about a mile to the bootleg store. So I took off. I mean, what was I going to do? I didn't have a cell phone back then. There wasn't cell phones, you know. I had to get to a phone. So I run a mile with those coins, with the bag of coins, because I wasn't going to leave them sitting there on the side of the road. Somebody get them, you know, and I would be responsible for it. I was responsible for my money. If you came up short, you had to pay it. So I run with all that, you know, and as fast as I could, and then I had to call the Nolichucky Volunteer Fire Department. Okay, it's not like they're sitting there waiting on you to call. You know what I'm saying? It's volunteer. So it took them probably 20, 30 minutes more to get there. And by that time, the flames, there was a barn, like I said, with cows on the left side of the road. The flames were as high as the barn. by that time. I kid you not. And I was like, how is this thing not blowing up? You know, because it had a full tank of gas. I think, it didn't use diesel, it used gas back then. And I was like, oh my God, because I mean, I came back up there looking at it, watching it, you know, because I wanted to be there when they got there, but I stayed my distance. But the cows, if it had blown up, the cows were so close, they would have been history. But so they finally get there, and they put it out. And so afterwards they said, you know, they were there for quite a while. Naturally, I couldn't do nothing, you know. I think they had to come pick me up, I guess, you know. I remember that, yeah, I think I had to go, the tow driver. After it was all cooled down and everything, so I was there a long, long time, hours and hours. And so after it cooled down, they opened the gas tank somehow, and there was smoke in the tank. And so God was with me again, y'all, you know. And anything plastic was completely melted, like the door handle thing where you push it in, you know, to open it. It was everything was just melted. It was totaled. So, you know, I kept that fire extinguisher to show them there was nothing in it, you know. So I go in with this tow driver all the way back to the plant. It was about 45 minutes away. And, you know, as we're pulling in, oh yeah. I'm writing something down. Two things. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Over to. Okay, where was I? I had to write a couple things down. I actually have a bunch of stories from when I worked at Coke. I wrote a couple more down. So I come pulling into the warehouse with this guy and that truck behind it. The paint job is even burnt off of the bed and everything, and it is just totaled. I mean, it's just all brown and crispy and black. And there he is. There's the owner. You know, it was, you know, it was a franchise, of course, and the owner, he was very strict. He almost fired me for my pants being too long that they issued me because Joy didn't hem them fast enough for him. So he was picky, and I knew, you know, I was going to have to prove myself. And I was holding that fire extinguisher, and I walked up to him, and he's like, what in the world happened? I want to know. So I told him the story. Needless to say that salesman, he just about lost his job. Because everybody at breakfast saw me, or they were sitting beside of me. We were sitting all at the table, and I was going, I don't want to drive this truck. There's something wrong with this truck. It ain't going to make it. I need to go back and get another truck. He's like, no, go on. Get your deliveries. You got to get the blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So I turned in that fire extinguisher that was empty and told him my story. I wasn't going to cover for that guy. It was really, I should have just totally refused, you know. I'll admit that. But he just kept on, you know. And like I said, they were kind of like our boss, but they didn't really have a title of supervisor. But so anyway, I got out. I wasn't in trouble. But it's just another example that, just like yesterday, you know, God was with me. That truck could have blown up at any time. That's for sure. What happened was the the air filter, you know, is above the carburetor. Back then, they don't even have carburetors now, really. But, yeah, so the air filter was soaked with oil somehow. I don't know how. I don't know if oil was somehow blowing back up through it or what. So every time it backfired, it made a spark. Finally, the spark, I guess, was strong enough to ignite the air filter that had oil in it. And then it was on after that, you know. So that's a crazy story. That's just another one. I've got a bunch of them. I just sat here and wrote down 1, 2, 3 more. Like I said, tomorrow will be when they change to new Coke. I'll probably just do a little series here of Coca Cola, and maybe as I'm telling the stories, I can remember other stories. I can tell you, this was on the way back from that one. Okay, this is really one story here. I got 2, but this happened in both of them. I'll tell you the one about the next day. This will be Saturday. I'll tell you the story about when we were sent out to deliver to an A-frame a whole load of Coca-Colas. It was supposed to be a restaurant. Ended up in an A-frame up in the mountains. I'll tell you about that. That's a crazy one too. So that, I got Friday when they changed Coke to new Coke. Saturday, the amazing adventure to the A-frame. And then I've got some others that aren't to do with Coke, but if I remember more, which I probably will, I'll write them down as I remember. So that's just something else. Now, I was trying to think if there was anything else I needed to cover as far as that goes, but I don't think so. Today, if you haven't seen Logan's Awesome Snack Reviews, we had a great one yesterday. Everything was sent in by viewers for Logan to review, and that's just great. And then he did some bonus items that we already had. But today, I might have enough. I'm waiting to get a little bit more for tablet time. Everybody says it makes them hungry. I just did a Kitty's Corner the other day. And by the way, if you want your pet to host Kitty's Corner, send me a pic of your pet's face, not super close up, you know, a little back, you know, and info like funny things it does or something you want to know, want people to know about your pet. If there's a certain thing, a certain, you know, situation, how you got it, or just a little info for an intro of your pet. And you'll have to send it to me to one of my social media, which I'll put in the description. So, yeah, you can have your pet on Kitty's Corner. And if you all haven't noticed, or if you have a channel, you probably know, you know, about YouTube changing the the audience. You have to, I know they started it the other day, but I know the first of the year they're really going to, you know, come down on this. But you have to, she's trying to get in cat food. Stop that. You have to put down whether your video is for kids or not. And, you know, at first I was confused because, I thought it said that you wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't be able to run ads on your channel if you put down that it was not for kids. I had it backwards. If you put down that your video is for kids, they won't let you, they won't put any ads, and you won't make anything off of them. And I think they'll just even disable your comments. But, you know, my stuff is not. There's nothing that would cause you not to let anybody watch. You know, I don't understand some of it, so I have to put down that mine are not made for kids, and they're not specifically, you know, for kids. But, you know, I'm sure that they have watched some of the things I've done, but, you know, in the future, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'll have to actually put it down as not made for kids. I don't know, and maybe they'll fine-tune this or something, but it seems kind of messed up right now the way they're doing it. So you just got to do what you got to do as far as, you know, the rules and stuff. You got to really follow the rules. And that's what I'm going to do. But I have never put anything out that I think would be offensive, I don't think. Some of that stuff from Jib Jab, like it has the Walking Dead. Well, everybody watches that anyway, you know. And I don't know, some of them probably, younger kids don't need to be watching that, I'm sure. So I'm going to be a little more selective about some of those. You know, I'll make sure that they aren't too scary and stuff or whatever. But, you know, it's just all in fun, though. I mean, anybody who watches TV these days, you're going to see anything on it. Anything. So why is it, you know, different with this? I don't really understand what's going on. But I know what they're trying to do, and I agree with that. You know, we don't want the kids to be, you know, a target or anything like that. Of course, my kids are all grown up. But, you know, I know a lot of people have their kids on them, and it was always innocent and stuff, but you just never know, I guess. You know, who's out there or whatever. But just follow the rules, like I said, y'all. I don't think I have anything else to go over. I hope y'all enjoyed today's story. Please press that like button, please. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so that you get all of my videos as soon as they come out. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all my new friends here. I will support you to the best of my ability. I watch about 30 videos or more a day, and it's hard to get around everybody. So if I miss one, I'll be back. I promise you I will, you know, support you too. And I'm on my road to the hashtag 2K giveaway. I think I was at like 1978 maybe this morning. So I think I need 22 more. Help me get there, y'all, and we're going to be that closer to the giveaway. I'm going to be giving away a Walmart gift card only to the United States. I found out that Walmart in Canada does not honor United States Walmart cards. I'm sorry, guys, but you'll have to be a subscriber of mine, obviously. But we'll go over all that when the time comes. It'll be fun, and it'll be a Walmart gift card. So I guess that's it for today, guys. I'll do something today. You know, I always find something to do. So, see you later, everybody. Have a great one. God bless.